years I've harbored a secret. People talk about my sons and the evil things they did. Yet still I remain strangely mute. I do not discuss my own actions that day, or the rage I felt when I burned the 2 linking books that had snared them. Some people believe my sons died in those fires, but the truth is, they did not. You're the only one I can confide in, my friend. So I'm asking you to come to Tomahna. There are things I must tell you about my sons.
Hello and welcome to Let's Play Myst IV Revelation. Yes, once again it's time to return to the world of the Dunny. Myst IV was released in 2004, 1 year after Uru, and despite the logo at the beginning, Cyan Worlds didn't actually develop this game. Instead, this game was developed by Ubisoft, while Cyan was working on Uru. In Myst IV we return to the early 19th century, and once more take up the part of the anonymous stranger who had helped Atrus before in Myst, Riven and Myst III. It appears that Atrus has called us to his home in Tomahna, because he needs our help with a matter concerning his sons. Well, let's refresh our memory a little, shall we? In Myst we learned that Atrus' sons planned to get rid of their parents. They tricked Atrus into going to Dunny, not knowing the brothers had sabotaged his linking book to Myst. And they tricked Catherine into going to Riven without a linking book back. But Sirius and Akinar were themselves tricked, and were trapped in 2 prison books. In Myst, the stranger frees Atrus, and Atrus burns the 2 prison books holding his sons. In Riven, the stranger frees Catherine, and also deals with Atrus' father Gen. Since then, Atrus has worked to find as many Dunny survivors as he could, and has tried to restore their culture. However, the events on Terrani, as described in the novel Myst, the Book of Dunny, led him to believe that restoring the Deep City was not a good idea, and he has decided instead to write a new home for the Dunny, Relishan. Atrus also decided to build a new home for himself and Catherine, Tomahna, which is near the cleft in the desert of New Mexico. Yes, it's on Earth, not a different age. Also around this time, Yisha, the daughter of Atrus and Catherine, is born. In Myst III, the descriptive book for Relishan was stolen by Savidro, and the stranger has to retrieve it. Savidro was acting out of revenge for what Sirius and Akinar had done to him, and in Myst IV we will once again be confronted with the 2 brothers. One of the things this game is infamous for amongst Myst fans is the apparent contradictions in how prison books work. Rest assured, I will address this, but not right now. I've done enough exposition for one video, I think, so let's get started.
It's really cool if you're not afraid of tight spaces. Dad and me aren't, but sometimes Mom has to close her eyes when I'm driving. I think she's not home right now, because I never could have picked you up by myself if she were. Hey, is that a new image recorder you've got? How cool! And you know, I know the perfect spot to use it. Hang on. Isn't Tomahna pretty from here?
It sure is.
I remember some of the other times you visited us. You've always liked stopping here. It's one of my favorite spots, too. Go ahead. Take a picture.
Okay, well, let's take a picture, which we do by using the camera icon here.
Just make sure your thumb's not in the shot. Dad always ruins his images that way.
There we go.
Did you get it? I think you should keep it in your journal. That way you can take it out and look at it whenever you miss us. I'll tell Dad you're here. Come on.
And instead of following her, we just sit here. Okay. Well, we've arrived in Tomahna. Obviously, this isn't the same place where we were previously in Tomahna, which was in Myst 3. Although that location that we saw in Myst 3 is still around, and we will see it later in the game. We actually already saw Atrus' study from Myst 3 in the introduction video, because that's where he was writing the letter. It seems that the stranger and Atrus are keeping in regular contact, which is, I think, a nice touch. It would make sense that they would become good friends after we've helped Atrus out so very often. The game, like I said, is set in the early 19th century, and in particular it's set around 1825. According to science employee Richard Watson, Yisha was born in 1815, and she appears to be around 10 years old here, so this should be around 1825. Which makes you wonder, actually, how does Atrus keep in contact with the stranger? Does the Mexican Postal Service deliver mail to Tomahna? Because yes, I checked, in 1825 New Mexico was part of Mexico, not of the United States. As you can see, this game uses pre-rendered graphics, like the older Myst games, unlike Uru, which was developed at the same time. But it does use some more effects, like these birds that are flying around. You get a lens flare when you look at the sun. And it also has a depth of field effect, which follows the cursor. You can see that now the rock wall is in focus, and the monorail car is not. When I move my cursor over here, the monorail car is in focus, but the rock wall is not. Gives the game a little more realistic feel. I've also worked to make it a little more tactile, because you can actually tap various surfaces. Oh look, there's a symbol there. Maybe that represents the monorail. You cannot tap everything, it depends on how far away it is. Everything you tap will make its own distinct sound. Looks like Atrus has a security camera up here. Well, let's go inside. You can see some more examples of the 3D effects that they added to the pre-rendered images here. The moving wheels and the steam coming up there. It all adds to the idea that this is a real place rather than just a still photograph. We'll explore the inside here and of course meet Atrus in the next video.